Panther people, what up? Could new offensive coordinator Thomas Brown be the key for sustained success with the Panthers? I'm watching Panthers post to Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining. Well, Carolina Panthers coaching staff is completely hired up 1 week before everybody heads over to Indianapolis to take on the 2023 NFL Combine, the Underwear Olympics. And, the guys should be riding some pretty fast speeds enough for Don Capers' wig or whatever that is to lift off his head. But the guy's 72. I got to give him love. I don't even think he knows what trending means right now, but he was trending for quite a while, and just shout out to him for that. But, there's some really exciting names in this coaching hire. We talked about Ejiro Evero. We talked about, Dom Capers, the original Dom. Talked about Deuce Staley, who's going to be a journalist friggin' dream every single day from practice all the way until Sunday night. The guy is just filled with one-liners, whether it's, jiving or jibing with Dave Newton. But, he's going to be, if the Panthers were to get Hard Knocks, I don't think they qualify. But I think he, as we saw with the Detroit Lions, with that Hard Knocks episode with HBO, the guy is a quote machine. He's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, Jim Caldwell. I didn't hear him talk that much. I didn't really pay too much attention to Jim Caldwell when he was, the head coach with the Indianapolis Colts, but he is a charismatic guy. It's unfortunate he doesn't want to be a head coach anymore. What do you want to blame it on, the system itself or the fact that, he's almost in his 70s and he just wants to relax and coach up players? I'm okay with that, especially if it's with the Carolina Panthers. Now, suddenly, quarterback university, we mentioned that in the last episode. Shout out to everyone who watched that. But I want to focus on the offense, because that is something that Carolina Panthers fans have been missing in terms of seeing, a proper, grown-up, 21st century NFL offense. Thomas Brown spoke with the Carolina Panthers social team. They also spoke with the media, and he kind of has a theme. I don't know if he was coached up about it, but I'll delve more into that. But this is what offensive coordinator Thomas Brown had to say when he was asked on multiple occasions, because this is a Carolina Panthers team that is kind of in QB purgatory. Sam Darnold might be back as the vet, but the new quarterback in town, what qualities will they possess? Here's what we had to say.
A lot of different guys that kind of come in all shapes and sizes, but to me, again, it's an ongoing conversation. We had some great dialogue the last couple of days. Fourth day on the job, so again, it's about who fits into this system, being a selfless from a mentality standpoint, but also having a point guard mentality. So being able to distribute the ball to your playmakers, and on third down, red zone, 2 minute, go play Superman.
So there's Thomas Brown saying a couple key things. One, Superman, which is a triggering word for Carolina Panther fans. When you say quarterback needs to turn into Superman at times, obviously we think of the great big number one, Cam Newton, Killer Cam. Make sure to follow us on Panthers Post, at Panthers Post #1 for Killer Cam. Turning into Superman is something that Carolina Panther fans were very used to. So yes, a quarterback turning into Superman at the right time is very much part of the qualifications to be a beloved quarterback with the Carolina Panthers. The other one is a word that has been used a lot lately in this draft process to describe a particular quarterback in this draft, and it's a point guard mentality. And if there's anyone in this draft that I have heard enough about that they are a point guard in this draft, and that is Bryce Young from the University of Alabama. And whether it's from our draft profiles with Dane Parson at DP_NFL from the Draft Network, describing him as a point guard mentality. He said Chris Paul. Some people are saying Steph Curry. He just kind of finds the open lanes. He's got the different arm angles, the Patrick Mahomes, the Aaron Rodgers-ness of it all. But he just makes plays. He's cool under pressure. You could also say the same thing about CJ Stroud. He's kind of cool under pressure as well. He doesn't have as flashy things, except if you want to just focus on the semifinal in the college football playoffs. Sure, he was definitely a playmaker there. Absolutely, just finding the open receiver. A bit more up and down during the regular season. But those are the two guys that pop up in my head when he talks about that playmaker. He talks about the point guard mentality, just getting the ball to the guy no matter what it is, being a selfless player, not selfish player. But I would say, if you trust either of these two guys, whether it's CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, to take off and run, I would trust CJ in terms of sustainability in the NFL. I think he can sustain more hits just from his size in particular. And speaking of that, he did talk about, he prefaced all this, but before he talked about being Superman and being a point guard, he talked about quarterbacks come in all shapes and sizes. So it could either be the 5'10" Bryce Young, or it could be a 6'4" Anthony Richardson. He just kind of covered the bases, which makes me think either he's a super smart guy, which he has to be to get to this point, and he knows how to work the media. He knows people like me are just going to be chatting about and dissecting all the words that he's saying. But he literally said QBs come in all shapes and sizes, covering basically all the quarterbacks in this draft. They're not all the same size. They're all over the place. Bryce Young has got the question marks about his physicality, and then you got your Will Levises, and then you got your Anthony Richardsons, and then you got your Tanner McKees with the super long necks, and then he talks about point guard. He's like, okay, this guy obviously must be watching some kind of draft prep, some vlog, some NFL Live or something like that, because that's how people describe Bryce Young. And then he drops the Superman line. When you think of Bryce Young, you don't really see Superman. Maybe Superboy, maybe Nightwing. But you see Superman. You see, you could argue it's Will Levis, or in my opinion, you could argue it's Anthony Richardson, because he just literally almost fills the mold, 2 inches shorter, but almost fills the mold of a Cam Newton, which Carolina Panther fans obviously adore. So I don't know if he's playing us. I don't know if he was coached up by Scott Fitter or Dan Morgan's like, hey man, we can't give too much away. We're kind of in the running right now to try to trade up from 9, which is the worst position to trade up from, compared to guys like the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans and the Las Vegas Raiders. We kind of have to keep our cards close to our vest. We can't let people know. We can't pull a Jim Irsay and literally name out prospects like he did against Bryce Young. We got to kind of keep things close to our chest, or just keep it very general, which is exactly what he did. We don't really know what they're thinking. People are saying, Frank Reich likes big quarterbacks, the Andrew Lucks, the Phillip Riverses, the Jacoby Brissett. So Bryce Young doesn't really fit that mold. But hey, you never know. You don't know. Jim Caldwell, he coached Peyton Manning. He coached Matthew Stafford. These are all big dudes. Josh McCown, big guy himself. He played alongside the likes of Sam Darnold, big guy. No really small, not a lot of small guys in the NFL at quarterback position. So, not sure. But you got Deuce Staley, though, who played alongside Donovan McNabb, who was pretty big guy. Okay, 6'2", 240, pretty big guy. So, yeah, I don't know if he's just being coached up, or he just knows how to work the media, work the mic to make us keep guessing, and make the rest of the NFL, because, they're watching too, keep guessing on what kind of quarterback they're taking. Personally, I think, and I said this in the last episode, check that one out, but I'm going to say it again if you missed it for whatever reason, because of the infrastructure that the Panthers have in their coaching staff, from the very top, Frank Reich, to Jim Caldwell, who's kind of the floating coach, to Thomas Brown, to Josh McCown, who literally was in the league like a couple months ago. I think this is a safe landing spot for any of the guys, whether it's, the guys with the high floors right now with the Bryce Young, CJ Strouds, and you could just take them to that next level and make them, immediately probably one of the top 15 quarterbacks in the league, or you get a guy with a bit lower floor, less experience, had a rougher year, inconsistent year, whether it's Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, and then you can coach them up to reach heights they probably wouldn't be able to reach again unless they're with it, compared to another team like the Arizona Cardinals. A team like that. If I was a rookie quarterback right now, I probably wouldn't want to go to the Arizona Cardinals right now. So I feel like if I'm a rookie guy like Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, Carolina Panthers is the place I want to go to elevate my game to a level that probably wouldn't happen in another team that might not have the same amount of credibility, same amount of Lombardis. Like on the offensive side, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 Super Bowl trophies on the offensive side alone. So if you're a rookie quarterback, where else would you want to be drafted, right? And so you're not going to be one pulling an Eli Manning and getting drafted by the Chargers and then like forcing a trade with the New York Giants. Like that's just not going to happen with the Carolina Panthers. So I've never felt more confident than ever that the Panthers could stick and pick at number 9 for Anthony Richardson and actually have him play. Maybe not right away, but when he does play, he'll be coached up. He'll be in a system that they talked about. They have to fit their system, but I think at the same time, I think they're smart enough to know that your system also has to meet to what is their strength. You saw what happened to Chicago Bears. Justin Fields, they built on his run. They eventually figured out, like, hey, this guy can run. He rushed for 1,000 yards. He got hurt, but he's not a huge guy. He's not Anthony Richardson size, just a thickness. But, I think the offense, yes, you have to have your system. They have to follow the system, but also you have to see what you're working with and work around that. So if Anthony Richardson were to get drafted 9th overall, if they don't have to trade up, which they might have to actually, depending on what people are saying right now, that he can be in a system where I talked about before, the physicality on the offensive line with the skill position players. Talk about the chaos that it creates mismatches, wide open receivers. That's something that Sean McVay loves doing. That's kind of the bread and butter of his offense as well, creating those mismatches with motions. That makes it easier for a quarterback that may have accuracy issues, whether it's Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. Could make it even better with the likes of Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. So I think the Carolina Panthers spot is a good one. You guys let me know what you think about Thomas Brown, the offensive coordinator. You feeling good about it? The guy can spit on the mic. That is 100% sure. He's a charmer, all right. Him and Deuce Staley are going to have some serious battles. I can't wait for Camp Confidential with the Carolina Panthers. There's going to be so many clips. They have to have it throughout the season. I think the season's going to be good. I told you guys high hopes already. I think we're going to the divisional round at least. It is hope season, though, so color be crazy. But let me know what you guys think about Thomas Brown. How'd you feel about him talking to the media? What do you think this offense could look like? What kind of quarterback do you think the Carolina Panthers are going to talk to at Indianapolis? Probably talk to them all, but who do you think they're going to eventually draft in Kansas City in late April? Let me know. Make sure to like, subscribe. Love you guys all. See you soon.